You've been told $10,000 is a goal. Save it, hit it, celebrate it, move on to the next number. Nobody told you what actually happens when you get there. Not to your account, to you. Because $10,000 doesn't work like people say it does. It doesn't make you feel rich. It doesn't solve your biggest problems. It doesn't make anyone look at you differently. But something changes, something deep, something almost invisible. And once it changes, it cannot be reversed. This video is about that thing, not the version you've read in personal finance articles. The real version. The one that happens quietly, without ceremony, on a Tuesday when you open an app and see 5 digits for the first time in your life. If you've been grinding toward this number and wondering why it feels so important even though you can't fully explain why, stay with me. You're about to understand exactly what you've been building toward. First, you need to understand what life looks like before $10,000, not what it looks like from the outside, from the inside. Right now, if your savings are under $1,000, every single financial decision you make goes through one filter first, one question that happens so fast you don't even notice you're asking it anymore. Can I afford to be wrong here? That question is running your life. It's why you didn't leave the job you hate. Not because you love it, because you can't absorb a gap in income, not even 3 weeks. One missed paycheck and the whole thing tips. It's why you accepted the salary offer without pushing back. Not because it was fair. Because if they pulled the offer, you didn't have time to wait for the next one. It's why you stayed in the apartment with the leak in the ceiling. Breaking the lease costs more than you have right now. It's why you say yes to things you want to say no to. Sit through conversations you want to end. Work the overtime you didn't want. Not because you're weak, because the balance in your account has already answered the question for you before you even finish thinking it. This is what living inside financial fear actually feels like. Not panic, not drama, just a permanent low-level compression. Like breathing through a straw so long you forgot what full lungs feel like. And the cruel part? It's invisible to everyone around you. You look fine, you're handling it. Nobody knows about the math you run in your head before every single purchase. That math is the cost of living under $10,000, and almost no one tells you that it stops. If you've never seen this channel before, this is what we do here. The real mechanics of money, not the surface version. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Here's what nobody prepares you for. The day you hit $10,000 is not what you imagined. There's no confetti, no one calls you. Your life looks completely identical to how it looked the day before. It's probably a Tuesday. You open the app the way you've been opening it every few days, watching the number inch upward over months. And there it is. 5 digits, $10,000 and something. You stare at it 1 second longer than usual. You might screenshot it. You probably don't tell anyone. You close the app and get up and go about your day. But here's what happened in that moment, and you won't fully feel it for weeks. Your nervous system just received a piece of information it has never had before. Not information you read about. Information your body knows. That you can absorb a hit. Not every hit. Not a catastrophic emergency. But the normal kind. The kind that used to obliterate your entire month. That one doesn't end you now. And something that has been tightening in your chest for years just barely begins to loosen. Here is the single most important thing $10,000 does. It changes the question. Before $10,000, every major decision runs through. Can I afford to be wrong here? After $10,000, the filter shifts. Is this actually what I want? Those are two completely different questions. And if you've never had $10,000 saved, you have never, not once, made a major life decision using the second one. Every job you took, every city you stayed in, every relationship you kept going longer than you should have, every conversation you kept small, every opportunity you let walk past quietly. Think about the last time you didn't apply for something. Not because you weren't qualified, because if it didn't work out fast, you couldn't afford to wait and find out. It all went through the first question. You just called it being practical. After $10,000, you still have problems. Bills don't disappear. Life doesn't become easy. But the question running your decisions changes. And that one change, that single shift, touches absolutely everything else. Here's what this looks like in real life. It's Wednesday morning. You're backing out of the driveway and your car makes a noise. Not a good noise. The kind that tightens your stomach before you're even at the end of the street. Before $10,000, you call the shop. You sit in the waiting room doing math on your phone. Belt, maybe $300. Alternator, $600. Something worse, you stop calculating because it doesn't matter. You don't have options. You have one option. Fix it. Charge it. Figure it out later. You tap the card, you drive home quieter than you arrived. For the next 2 weeks, you're eating rice and catching up. Now run that exact same Wednesday with $10,000 saved. The noise still happens. Your stomach still tightens. You're human. But the next 10 seconds are different. Instead of collapsing into one option, the options open. You can get a second opinion. You can wait 2 days. You can decide the car isn't worth fixing and actually take your time finding a replacement instead of grabbing the first thing a dealer shows you because you need wheels by Monday. A $480 repair isn't a crisis with $10,000 in the account. It's a decision, a real one, with options. Same Wednesday, completely different life inside it. Here's one that changes careers, and most people miss it entirely. Your manager calls you in, restructuring. Your position is eliminated. 4-week severance. They slide the paper across the desk before $10,000. You sign it. You go home in a quiet panic. You apply everywhere and take the first offer because the bills don't care that you're being thoughtful. You end up somewhere worse than where you started because you needed the gap to close, and fast. After $10,000, you ask for the weekend to think. They say yes. They always would have said yes. You just never had the cushion to use that time before. You go home, you actually think. You apply for what you want. You negotiate because here is the truth about negotiation that most people never learn. The only thing that makes the other side take you seriously is your ability to say no. Before $10,000, you never had that ability. After, it's yours. And it changes every career conversation that follows. This one surprises people the most. After you cross $10,000, you stop waking up at 2 in the morning. Not immediately, not the next week. But slowly, over a few months, the nighttime math sessions start happening less, then barely at all. Because what was pulling you out of sleep was never darkness and it was never the bills themselves, it was pressure. The low-level, constant, relentless pressure of knowing that one wrong thing could tip the whole structure over. When that pressure begins to lift, your body stops running threat calculations at midnight. Your sleep changes. And when your sleep changes, everything attached to it changes too. You're less reactive during the day. Your decisions get clearer because you're not making them on borrowed energy. The patience you could never quite find, the kind that makes you better at your job, better in your relationships, more present with the people who matter to you, it starts showing up. Not because you became a different person, because the fear that was consuming your capacity finally loosened its grip. Sleep isn't a luxury. Sleep is where your nervous system decides if you're safe. $10,000 tells it, yes. Here's the part that almost nobody talks about, and it's the one that catches people off guard. After $10,000, something shows up that you weren't expecting. A different version of yourself. Not dramatically. There's no moment where you become someone new. But without the constant weight of one bad week ending everything, space opens up. And in that space, the fear that was quietly driving every decision starts to release. And when it does, you stop needing things you didn't know you were needing. You stop agreeing with people you don't agree with because you're not desperately protecting every income stream and every connection. You stop shrinking in rooms where you feel outranked. The version of you that exists under constant financial pressure is not the full version of you. It's a compressed version, shaped entirely by what you couldn't risk losing. $10,000 starts giving the rest of you room to come back. And the people around you notice, not because you announced anything, not because you look different, but because the fear you were carrying, even though you never said it out loud, was visible. And when it starts to fade, that's visible too. Here is the piece that most people completely miss. $10,000 isn't just changing your present, it's rewriting your future in ways you can't fully see yet. When you have no savings, every year of work is a year of staying even. You go in, you come out. The account starts at one number and ends at roughly the same one 12 months later. You're not building, you're maintaining. And maintaining is exhausting because the ground doesn't reward the effort. It just waits for you to slip. The moment you have $10,000, you're no longer maintaining, you're building. And building changes how you see time. A person who is surviving sees time as the enemy, something passing while they're still behind. A person who is building sees time as the engine, the thing doing work while they sleep. Put $10,000 in a high-yield savings account. The best ones are paying around 4 to 5% right now. Don't touch it. Come back in a year. You didn't earn that extra $400 to $500. Time earned it. Once you feel that, once you watch money grow without you doing anything, something shifts permanently in how you understand wealth. Money grows when you leave it alone. The hard part was never earning it. The hard part was accumulating enough that you stopped consuming it the second it arrived. Most people never break that cycle. $10,000 is the first proof that you can. You're going to hear people say $10,000 doesn't matter, that it's not real money, that wealth starts somewhere much higher. Don't let that in. Not because they're wrong about scale. At $10,000 you are not finished, not wealthy, not done. But they're misunderstanding what $10,000 actually is. It's not the destination. It's the first time you look at your own account and can no longer tell yourself a story about whether you're capable of this. The proof is right there, in your name. Before this number, part of you doesn't fully believe it's possible, not for you specifically. You've told yourself you'll save when things calm down, after this bill, after the next raise. The story always has a next chapter that never comes. $10,000 is when the story ends. Not because the money fixed everything. Because you look at the number and there is no story left to tell. The people who go from $10,000 to $50,000 to more, they aren't smarter, they aren't luckier. They just stopped stopping. They believed themselves for the first time and kept going. Here is what $10,000 actually buys. Not things, not status, not freedom in the final sense that comes later. It buys evidence. Evidence, sitting in your own account, in your own name, that you are capable of building something that lasts, that is everything that changes. And it starts with one number. If you want more of this, subscribe. The next video picks up exactly where this one left off. I'll see you there.